Let's talk about employment gaps on a job applicant's application and why employment gaps may not always be so bad. Grab a cup of coffee. Let's get into it. This video idea came from YouTuber Employee of the Month. Employee of the Month, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch one of my prior videos and leave this wonderful comment. And instead of talking about a flurry of stories where I can tell you that despite of an employment gap, I hired someone and they turned out to be this wonderful, dependable employee, what I'd like to do instead is help you as an employer or a decision maker by letting you inside my head, which could be dangerous by the way, and tell you my thought process, what I'm thinking as a business operations manager when I see an employee who on paper seems to be great, but they've got employment gaps. When you have a job applicant that has employment gaps, that means that you've got work to do. And this is where it helps to have your company's HR processes written and in place so that you will be able to quickly and efficiently separate the good candidates from the candidates your company would rather pass on. Having your HR foundation in place can help you save a lot of time and money as it relates to verifying employment, knowing what questions to ask, on and on and on. Before I get into my thought processes as it relates to hiring someone with employment gaps, please know that this information may not work for your company if you do not have the proper policies and procedures and processes in place. That includes establishing your company's HR foundation, clear job descriptions, fine print on your in-house job applications, and I'm going to put a link to a video that will help you with that right here. Obtaining authorizations from job applicants that will allow you to speak with prior employers and obtain important information. Creating your company's employee handbook. All of this should be in place before you hire your first employee. First, I would require that potential job candidate to fill out your company's in-house job application, including the fine print at the bottom. When you're looking at the completed job application, scan that application, look at the length of time they spent at their prior employers. Did the applicant hold similar positions within that person's career path? If so, how long? How many employment gaps do you see? What is the length of each employment gap within that application? I would schedule a preliminary phone interview with that applicant, especially if I thought they had some possibilities of being qualified for the position that I was looking to fill. Now, during that preliminary telephone interview, I would not get into too many details as it relates to what you are looking for to fill the position. This would just be a fact-finding phone call. Mainly, I would look into things like why that person had so many employment gaps. When they give you an answer, I would not go into detail with regard to why they're giving you that specific answer as their reason for having these employment gaps. That's something you save for the in-person interview. Now, you've already contacted the person, they're here sitting in front of you, and you're ready to conduct your in-depth interview. In between employment gaps, I would ask that person, what have you been doing since your last job? When you ask someone a question like this, it is up to you as an HR person or a manager or a business owner. Do not accept one or two word statements. Well, I was looking for a job during that time. I would be looking for something along the lines of, while I was in between jobs, I was professionally networking on LinkedIn. I was watching YouTube videos to help me improve on my skills. I was scanning the Workforce Commission's website looking for employment. If the applicant regularly changed jobs, in addition to having employment gaps, i.e. job hopper, link for that video right here. Again, inquire as to why this person consistently changed jobs and do not accept 1 or 2 word answers. Better opportunity, more pay. Inquire about the specific job duties that were expected, the tone of management, company culture at the prior employers. I would ask the job applicant to self-critique themselves. Would you hire you? Again, don't accept 1 or 2 word answers. If that person says, yes, I would hire me, I would like them to go into depth as to why they would hire themselves. Ask the individual, why do they believe they are not employed at this time? Why do they have these employment gaps? This is where you'll be able to drill down and ask even more specific questions as they come to mind. Drill down on the core job skills your applicant will need to fill your available position. And ask the applicant, has any of their skills deteriorated during this employment gap? If they say yes or no, does your company have in place any type of skills test? Most important, ask if the applicant would be willing to sign your company's authorization that will allow you or your HR team to contact the prior employer, and ask that prior employer to submit to an interview and include any documented employment evaluations, attendance issues, or any other issues related to that employee while they were employed at that company. And I'll tell you one thing that will help you as an employer get truthful information. Here's a great question. Will I regret hiring you? Always ask why or why not, and please do not settle for 1 to 2 word answers. When looking at job applicants with employment gaps, there's a lot that you must take into consideration. It's easy to tell someone to hit the bricks as soon as you see an employment gap. Dismiss the myth that hiring someone with an employment gap is a bad thing, because it's not. If you want to know more about business operations, business management, human resources, and other topics related to running a business, click on one of those play links. Click on one of these click on the playlist.
1 eternity later.
Click on one of these playlists. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe.